So we touched on it. That's what everybody talking about. So we might as well go there. Surviving R. Kelly was on last week, all weekend. It's the topic of discussion for the world, Craig. And initially, I didn't really want to talk about it because everyone reacted off the emotions first. Even though this is a 20-year-old story, probably further back than that. So initially, I wasn't emotional about it. But I didn't want to talk about it because everything I was seeing online, the consensus was basically emotion. So time passed. I know I can have a good conversation with y'all about it. We all watched it. Six
together,
parts.
almost together.
Yeah, six parts. A Lifetime event. What was it? Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
He killed our weekend. He sucked up the entire weekend.
It opened up the box that I mean. So the end of it was recent news, was stuff that was going on last year about him having a quote unquote sex cult. That part of the story I never bought into. Because the women that they said that he had was of age. So I never called it a sex cult because we don't tend to use that term when we talk about, Hugh Hefner and other men with multiple wives, girlfriends, what have you. And now what goes on in R. Kelly's house, if it's all adults, is between adults. So that part of it, which was the recent news, I never really bought into. This special series, whatever, documentary, went back. They went to the beginning. So they took the bandages off of everything from the past. They went back to Aaliyah. So we can kind of start there. Now I don't want to go through things step by step. But the key moments was Aaliyah was kind of the beginning of when things started to come out. Was anyone before that? I don't think there was any women that we knew of.
Well, I think you do have to start before then with his allegation of him being. See, that I think that is the key to most of this, because
his childhood and his brother telling him that he was molested. R. Kelly himself was molested. His brother was molested. I just found out that they were molested by their sister. I didn't know that part. Were y'all aware of that? Yeah,
I saw that.
I found that out today. The younger brother, who was the baby of the family, R. Kelly's, I think, the middle brother, and there's an older brother that was in jail in the documentary. Their older sister.
That nigga.
So the sister is the one that was doing the molestation in the family. The younger brother, his effect on it was, I don't like this. I'm screwed up for life. But I ain't with this. It seems that R. Kelly, he might have liked it, and it set him on this path of weird sexual antics and things.
I mean, I feel like when you are a child, when this supposedly happened at a very,
and all allegedly, because I ain't trying to get sued because R. Kelly about to sue me.
Right.
Allegedly.
So allegedly, when all of these things happened, when he was young, when his younger brother was also, I think they were like either between the ages of like 4 and like 8.
I believe so. The brother said he was 6 when it happened. And R. Kelly's a little bit older than him. So, and I don't know the time frames that they were.
R. Kelly was molested between the ages of 8 and 13.
Right. Yeah. So you have to think of the development of either the younger brother and or him. So in that 4 and 13, let's just you have these series of events that happen to you. You tend to think this is life, B, either think that you're the only one. So when the brother tells R. Kelly that me too, he's like, nah, because psychologically you might think you're the special one, the only one. So the disbelief that it's also happening to my younger brother, no. Or, there's a lot of things that play here, but the point I'm trying to make is when you start a life of abuse, sometimes the only thing it may manifest itself in different ways. When you have young girls who are molested or sexually assaulted, back in the day, they went two ways. They either went really, really promiscuous, or, like back in, you would hear all these things that's what. So I feel like R. Kelly may have taken the extra promiscuous road and the brother did not. There's when anything traumatic happens in anyone's life, no matter how old you are, there's a fork. You can either address the traumatic issue and try and push forward, or you bury it and act out in ways that you can't speak about because you're still trapped in that trauma.
Right.
So what happened?
Trapped in the closet?
No, I'm just saying in life in general. The brother, one direction, like Kelly, my nerves, and manifest into this whole surviving R. Kelly thing. So I think the Aaliyah thing was not beginning.
Right.
The Aaliyah,
as far as
the
beginning of not criminal activity, but just the case. But I believe before that they were saying he was pulling up to high school because he dropped out of school,
right?
And he would always show up after school. So I think that was even before Aaliyah when he first started his career popping. He was still showing up to school, which the tour manager or road manager was the one that said he knew that.
That nigga too.
So we gonna
what in
fingers. Alleged activity.
Before we even go that far, there's one other element from the past that we have to speak on.
What's up?
So the bullying. Okay, so the bullying plays a role in that also. Because the bullying, because I was bullied as a kid, and his older brother, Bruce, said, they're bullying you now, but they're gonna wanna be around you, or whatever he said to that effect, basically saying you're gonna always be better than them. That plays a part because he was bullied, because he couldn't read well, and he was always a little bit more timider than everybody else. You gotta, that's a piece of that puzzle too. You feel what I'm saying? So the Aaliyah piece is what made the world aware of what he liked or what he was doing.
His preference as his.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that because I want the drop kick in his contacts.
His brother said that was his preference.
Yes.
No, sir. That plays a part in it too, I believe. Like you said, when he got the music contract, he went back to high school. He went back to the high school and hung out at the high school because somewhere in his mind, he was still stuck there. Even though he dropped out, in his mind, I have to show them. And the them that he's referring to weren't even there anymore because they had already graduated or gone on and did, you know what I'm saying? But like you said, the trauma, he's trapped in his mind. In high school, y'all didn't know what was going to happen to me. Now I'm the man. So I'm stunting at the high school and I'm going to get all the girls. In age, he's 20 something or better. But in mind, he's still that 14, 15-year-old boy. You feel what I'm saying? I'm going to kick you.
We're not doing that? Oh, all right. I thought we was throwing in
No.
Okay.
Too soon. Too soon.
All right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I picked that up from the backup singer dancer girl who said she went to the high school. And when they would say, go get your friends or go get me some girls, they were going to get their friends because they don't know 20-something-year-old girls like that, but they're not knowing that that's what he's preferring. You feel what I'm saying? Everybody gets caught up in the moment. We're in the studio. We having a good time. We this, we that.
Vibe. Because they got the vibe.
They got the vibe. that was the first single that we saw that he had with public announcement. But yeah, I think Aaliyah though is when it became public to the world, and we as Black folks do what we Black folks do. We ignore it because this type of thing happens in all of our families, and to a certain degree, pedophilia, molestation, all that nonsense. No, but it happens.
I put some hands on somebody. Me, I'll go get home to Florida. We can ride out.
Lord, you're gonna get some straws from Florida and
with the hands, and we're gonna find out who somebody did something to you.
No, nobody did anything to me personally.
I don't know.
But it has happened throughout the course of families. Okay. Ours is not exempt from it, just so you know. Okay? Although
you cool, I'm cool. So
I'm good. I'm okay.
Go back to the story. So Aaliyah, niece of Gladys Knight's ex-husband in the industry. Huh? No, Aaliyah.
Who is Gladys Knight's ex-husband?
Aaliyah's uncle.
Oh, I'm like, who? Gladys Knight's
Aaliyah.
Cousin's brother.
That's Aaliyah's uncle. Who in turn was his first manager.
Okay, but you started off with the Gladys Knight sister's brother's cousin.
I just said that. Focus, people, focus here. We trying to, you know what I mean? So,
take two.
Aaliyah is brought to R. Kelly for him to mentor her.
Mm-hmm.
Her age at the time is always a mystery. So, not that people ignored it, people just were confused because it was a lot of trickery and stuff thrown at what was going on. Of course, on the album cover, he's standing in the background. Age Ain't Nothing But a Number is the name of her first album. He's her mentor. Every interview she does, he's there. Matching outfits, which is a thing still, which I've never been in a relationship where I wanted to do matching outfits. But again, mentality. No. Allegedly, the dancer said she came on the bus, bust the door wide open, boom. She saw Aaliyah and Kels getting it in. She didn't say it. So what are y'all on that thus far? What do y'all think? Allegedly, she said this happened. Since then, Aaliyah's mom wrote a statement saying she'd never seen that girl before. Aaliyah's mom says me and her father was always with her on tour. Never seen that dancer before, so that ain't happened.
So then my question to Aaliyah's mother is, so how they get married?
We didn't get that part yet.
How you allow that? But you're saying that the mother is saying she's never seen this girl. That never happened. So then how did you allow your daughter to get married to this older man?
So did that go
right? And you not know, and you're not
always there, right? She was always there. She was on every tour. So you saw this romance blossom, my dear, and then said, yes, I co-signed.
Allegedly, Aaliyah got pregnant. Now that's when all we can do is assume that if the parents were aware they wanted them to get married, or he thought if he married her, who knows? But that whole marriage thing came from out of nowhere, and then it was annulled a little while afterwards. So pregnancy allegedly happened. The marriage was again, this was public record, but it was back then and back in that time, TMZ wasn't popping. The internet wasn't as fast as it is now. Nothing was really confirmed. We still never knew her age.
But the radio stations were on it. And if I remember correctly, she went missing for a couple of days. So the first thing they were talking about was Aaliyah pregnant?
Mm-hmm.
Rumor, that was the first rumor, right? That was rocking one day. Then 2 days later, we've got word that allegedly Aaliyah and R. Kelly got married.
Mm-hmm. But
Okay?
it was a rumor and speculation.
Right. Listen, play with me. Just run with me. Then it was Aaliyah's parents are worried because they can't get in contact with her. And the only reason why I remember this is because I was at work listening to Wendy Williams when she came on at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Oh, I was gonna say because you old.
Because at that time, that was what you was listening to. You was listening to Wendy Williams when she was on WBLS, I think it was at the time. Okay? Yes, I'm dating myself. I don't give a shit.
So boom. Aaliyah forged the paperwork, forged documents. She said she was 18.
Aaliyah didn't do it. Kelly did it.
Do it, or did R. Kelly do it?
R. Kelly did it.
She was aware of what was going on.
Was she?
Personal manager said it. He changed the age.
The documents, yes.
Right.
Now, here's where it gets tricky, because we don't. How old was Aaliyah? She was 14, 15.
She wasn't 18. She wasn't 18.
She wasn't 18, so she knew that was wrong. And I'm not victim shaming or none of that right now. I'm just saying, in this situation, everybody knew what was wrong.
Well, let me say this, okay? So, I was a 16-year-old girl. I was a 15-year-old girl. I was a 14-year-old girl. Mm-hmm. You have this image of this person who's coming in and helping you, and he's attractive and you're attractive. And as a young girl, you do have the tendency to romanticize things.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right or wrong? No, because we all do it. People do it at 40. Everybody romanticizes something, someone, some situation. So my thing is, and this will be a running theme with me throughout. Mm-hmm. Everyone likes to say, we want this blame to be placed everywhere. No, in certain situations, there really isn't. The personal assistant dude, you knew that was wrong. You knew. Oh, I asked him straight up. Something going on? Nah, man. You see that man. You are his personal assistant. You are his tour manager. You mean to tell me that in your right mind, you questioned him, and only because he told you no, you just totally, the thought just totally left your mind?
Just that quick.
Just that quick as it popped in and popped out? You're changing. You knew she was not of age.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You changing the paperwork. Oh, because I need this job. Word? For real?
Mm-hmm.
Kelly, you knew this wasn't right. So, in this situation where, everyone knew this wasn't right, everyone didn't know this wasn't right. There was a girl out there who thought that she was really in love with somebody and wanted to be with that person, and they matched, they did all this other type of with the wearing of the same clothes. She was living in a fantasy world, as all 16-year-old girls do.
She was caught up in the moment.
That's what they do.
Right, wrong, or indifferent.
So,
I agree with you.
What is this? She knew, or he knew. They knew. Those two grown-ass men, they knew. That's where the blame goes.
And I fully agree with you.
Because at the end of the day, while she's in their care, they're responsible for her well-being because she's technically still a minor.
Yes.
So, yes, they are responsible for her well-being. So even if she did know it was wrong, you can't put the onus on her. And I know you're not saying you're victim shaming, but at the end of the day, she was in a situation where, allegedly, because we don't know what she was thinking or what it was. But the easier answer is she was in a situation where it was romanticized. Oh my God, you know, he loves me, we're together. When you love people, you get married. This is fantastic. I got a record career. I'm going to be a singer. And then I have him and he's already established. We're going to be great. This is fantastic. Oh my God, but my age, oh, they worked it out. All I have to do is say I do.
It's a Disney movie for her. It's a straight up Disney movie for her.
Hold on. I was not blaming her. What I was getting at and what we all just did is all we can do is assume that that's what it was. We don't know the input that her parents had on the situation. So we don't know if she was just romanticizing the situation or even they was telling her, well, if you're pregnant, you got to get married or this. We don't know. So I wasn't just blaming her. I'm saying everyone involved in this, the adults, because we still to this point don't know if her mom is saying that they were there, then they were there. So when this went down, they were aware. So
right.
We don't know exactly if it was just the tour manager and Kels. It could have been her parents' stuff too, saying, well, if you're going to have this baby or if this is going to happen, such and such, then you got to do this. And that locks you in. We just don't know. Everything we can do is speculate at that point. The only thing that is
But then that negates what the parents were saying originally, because originally they were saying that they had no idea.
And that's what I'm saying. Right now, as of right now, today, her mom said she was there. She released a statement. She said she was there.
But see how I took that statement, whether she was there or not or whatever, I feel like her mom is doing everything in her power to secure Aaliyah's legacy of being, listen, she will forever be the R&B princess. We love her. Nobody's looking at her and calling her a fast ass. Nobody's, saying this is her fault. We didn't even say it was her fault then. We still, we moved on from it. You good, we good. If first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. Okay, we was with you. Okay? I just feel like the parents, now you're making us call you into question, because just the mere mention of her name in reference to him, you guys drum up.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. What's to say they weren't doing that back then? Their involvement, again, mom can release a statement on Twitter or whatever now, today. Back then there was no Twitter. We don't know what the involvement was back then. She was trying to secure her legacy back then, because at the end of the day, before she was Aaliyah to us, she was Aaliyah, their daughter. So when stuff was going on at the beginning of her career, they were still she's saying that she was involved at the beginning of her career as well. So what she's doing now today could have been taking place back then too, which is secure, like you said, securing her legacy or creating her legacy in the beginning of it. So not to call her fast. You got to get married. Then they probably changed their minds and said, you know what? We might have to get an abortion. Annul the wedding. So then you don't need to, we don't know. A lot of hands was involved. That's what I was saying. There's hands involved. This is all alleged and an assumption. But if we see mom today and her father passed away, rest in peace to him, mom's today is doing what she's playing cleanup. And it may not just be on her. There may be other people involved and lawyers and things that are saying, say this, release this statement and so forth. We don't know. And they made it. Per the documentary,
the road manager, whoever he was, he said they paid Aaliyah's family off $100,000.
And I've also heard that Aaliyah's family got R. Kelly's masters.
I heard that too.
He says, from what I heard, they received his masters for hush money. That's why he said on the song, I admit, he had to write off his masters.
So I just say I get what everyone's saying. I do though feel as though did the mother actually have to write the statement? I feel like when you put yourself in this R. Kelly there's all these distractions. Like we've been talking about Aaliyah, but had it not been for the mess with R. Kelly, there would be, you know what I mean? Like there's always a distraction. Oh, R. Kelly did this, but here's a statement from Aaliyah's mom saying that the girl is a liar. So hate everything that she's saying, and so we should her, and so we should believe R. Kelly. Like, what is the deal?
Right.
I feel as though if I'm Aaliyah's mom and this girl is saying, "Oh, R. Kelly, has sex with," I don't know if I would respond to that. I think I'm better than. I know my daughter. I know my daughter's legacy. I don't need to respond to this shenanigans and create yet another distraction from what we should be talking about, which is the systemic abuse of this man. The story was in part 1. There were 5 other parts to that surviving documentary. So why in the world are we, you know what I mean? It's all distractions. John Legend. Oh, kudos to John Legend for doing this. And then there's a photo with John Legend with Harvey Weinstein.
You're fast forwarding. I was going to get to that part. You're fast forwarding.
But this is the part, this is what I'm talking about. There is this, as soon as something comes up that we should be focusing on, well, here's this piece, focus on that. It's like a magician where, you're popping up all these things to distract us from what we should be focusing on, which is.
Let's get to that. So let's get to, because I was trying to go there.
Sorry.
Y'all skipping. First y'all took me further back. Now y'all going forward. I'm trying to get to. I was trying to do that.
Okay, let's go.
I can't wait to get on them parents in part 6 because I
was getting to that.
Let's go.
So after Aaliyah's situation, they in the docuseries they didn't really explain too much about why she moved on from him to like Timberland, and they didn't really go into that. But then we had, I think it was like the Spanish girl. She met him at the mall. Then he met his wife. He was still messing with Lizette while married to his wife.
19.
Yeah. So, I made me lose my train of thought. The wife was there. He had Lizette. He had the wife. And then next was, around this time is when Sparkle was dealing with him. And Sparkle, of course, made a couple songs, and Sparkle spoke on the song that they had, how controlling he was in the studio, so on and so forth. So she was aware of his controlling demeanor. She was aware of his track record at the time. So she never really, they never confirmed she did anything with him, whatever. That's not a big deal. But she was aware of certain things about him. She introduced her niece, her niece's parents, said, hey, maybe he can help her get some, some singing, some stardom, so on and so forth.
So Sparkle said that the niece was very good. She was almost like a wow at that time. You know how he was.
Right. Singing, rapping, yeah. So Sparkle was with it. What threw me off was when Sparkle, she said that the parents was like dropping her off, wasn't even letting so Sparkle get there. What are you doing here? This is the part that it's hard to talk about. I was trying to get to this part. This is the part where it really gets, But Sparkle's niece meets him. He's mentoring her again. That's the word they went with, mentoring. Sparkle comes to the studio. Her niece is there. She's like, how'd you get here? My parents dropping you off. They went into detail about, him having a bed or bedroom in the studio. Weirdness to it. And then we find out, which I wasn't aware of either, that Sparkle's niece was the one in the video that was circulating back in the days before, you know, sex tape things really popped off. I didn't know that that was Sparkle's niece. So that confirms who she was and what her age was. And that was the lowest point of the documentary. All of that, you know, being revamped and brought up again. What are y'all thoughts on Sparkle's situation? Her family signing over like mentorship to him, or I don't know, with a contract where they had some kind of an agreement for her to stay with him at one point. And what do you think about that?
You want to start, or you want me to start?
Oh, now y'all don't want to talk.
Nah, go ahead. Nah, go ahead, Krista. You got it. I went first last time.
As I was watching that particular part where they started to set up the dun 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 at the end with the Sparkle's niece, you know, to me, I felt such sadness, such violation, not just of the little girl, but of Sparkle. So you have this artist, you know, that you're mentoring, you're doing songs with her. You think, you know, she's family. She was your background singer. It's not like you just met this chick off the street. You know what I mean? She was your singer. She was like family. You know, you were doing things. So for you to not only violate the trust of your relationship with Sparkle, let alone utterly humiliate and devastate this small girl, it's a different level of disrespect that I, you know, have just never. It made me so sad. And then to watch Sparkle, like, I should have never introduced her. I was just trying to help my niece. That's not, you know what I mean? And you want to be like Sparkle, that's not your fault. That's not your fault. You were trying to help your niece. Who knew that this monster would look at your niece in a predatory way? Did you know that, Sparkle? And I'm sure that back then she would have been like, hell no, not my niece, no, because we like family. So when it was revealed that the girl in his sex tape was Sparkle's niece, and she was, 13, 14 at the time, I felt immense sadness because, I mean, I was disgusted at the 17-year-old girls. I'm disgusted at the 15-year-old girls. When you are videotaping 13, 14-year-olds, you die. Just die. I can't even, as a parent, even if I'm thinking, okay, my daughter, blah, 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 whatever. She's 13. Yes, Aunt Sparkle is over there, but let me wait for her. Let me make sure, because this isn't, even though I'm sure my child may exude some maturity in being 13, 14, you know, we say, oh, they're very mature for a 13-year-old. They're very mature. The fact of the matter is that they're not. The fact that they're still 13. And so I don't know if I, as a parent that I am right now, and this is because of my own issues and my own past and my own history, I'm very leery of how sneaky and nasty men can be. I've always been this way since I was a young girl. I know how nasty and manipulative and disgusting some men can be. So my antennas are always up. So as a parent, I would always, I don't care who it is, you know, oh, we just going to such and such or whatever. If there's a man there, I don't know. Hold on. Let me check. Let me call. Let me go with you. Something. I'm not at I'm not a parent to allow my child to just sit with a grown ass man without somebody I know being there. Not somebody's play cousin, friend, sister's brother, somebody I know.
And that's the interesting about it, because they didn't even contact Sparkle saying, hey, are you going to be at the studio tonight? We're going to drop her off. And truth be told, she told Sparkle that the parents dropped her off. We don't know if that's true.
Right. There's a lot of we don't knows. There are a lot. And I'm not saying that that this story is ironclad, that this is exactly
This we don't know lifetime special.
This is the retelling of a 15, 20-year-old story. So things can get fuzzy. Got it. My thing about it though is on his end, because I'm gonna keep bringing it back to the person that we should be talking about. He should have known. Now, a sick person doesn't know their own sickness sometimes. If I felt so horrible about it. It gutted me, because she felt responsible for somebody else doing something that she could not fathom that they would do. So that's a pain that you don't really know, because I can't imagine it. If I can't imagine it, then when it actually happens and it's here, I don't even know how to deal with that. And watching it, I didn't know how to deal with it either. Because I'm trying to think, if I had somebody that I was close with and they violated my own family knowing me, that's for the sake of saying, like, somebody that I know would do something to my child, like a cousin of mine or somebody that I'm really close with, that I sing with, that I have sung with, that I've done videos with, that I've done interviews with, that I've been in the studio with countless times. That person to do that to my family, that is the most disrespectful thing I think I've ever heard in my entire life.
So, point one, I'm surprised Sparkle didn't shoot him.
I'm surprised nobody had, but we'll come back to that.
But I'm surprised Sparkle didn't shoot him, because, like Crystal said, I would think, and this is going back to what the dancer said, that they all spent so much time together and all that stuff, that they were like a family. And they thought of each other as family. And Sparkle and the dancer were close, and other members of the band and stuff were close, and they considered themselves family. And to think that you would do what you did to Sparkle's niece, who's her blood relative, what does that say? That you don't care about me? You feel what I'm saying? That I could see that being something that could push me over the edge. That snap where it's like, you don't care enough for me to respect my blood. So it's my niece, but what if it was my daughter? You feel what I'm saying? That I'm saying, I'm leaving, I've left her in the booth, or I left her here with you, or whatever. Like, the sheer thought of you just an individual that can't be trusted. And this was all from the first night, and I can only say it like this because I know we put it all together, but that first night challenged me. It challenged me because I went back to those times. And I remember when we watched the tape, our Kim brought the tape to the house, and y'all called me downstairs, and we watched it, and I was fiddling on the computer, and we were skimming through, and we got to that point. We didn't finish it, because when it became clear to us that was a little girl, you turned it off. I remember. And I look back, again, this is now 20 years later, and I'm mad at my 20-year-old self, because in my 20-somethings, I just wanted to see the tape. right? Because at that time, nobody knew a 13 or 14-year-old girl was on it.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knew this baby was on this tape. So in our minds, we're thinking, or I was thinking, I'll speak for myself, well, he sings all these damn songs. Maybe some of that stuff gonna come out, you know, in his activities. It was me being a 20-year-old. And I commend us for being smart enough to turn it off when we realized that was a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the case came out and they said it was Sparkle's niece, that brought something else out of me again, that, wow, how many people turned yet again that blind eye?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you want to blame the females in the videos because you're saying, oh, they wanted to be famous, they wanted to be him, they wanted this, they wanted that. But again, I fast forward myself, and I know they say, you know, hindsight is 20/20. I don't know if they wanted to be that famous, if that was the level of famous that they wanted. You know what I'm saying? And I feel bad for all of them. But the one thing that stuck out for me is that the way, so after the whole debacle with Aaliyah, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he started to take extra care in the things that he did. He started to shroud it and shade it a little bit differently. That's where I said the control came in. I'm going to do things to keep people within the way I want to keep them. I'm going to have this situation set up because when they were talking to his wife, Drea, she said all of the segments of his shows, the band, the dancers, the backup singers, they stayed in their respective groups,
Mm-hmm.
and they were not allowed to communicate with everybody else.
Or her.
And as you, or no, nobody. The dancers stayed with the dancers. The backup singers stayed with the singers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it played out the same way in the way that he separated the girls.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was allowed to be together. And so that's why I say the control comes in from his childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I also say he knows what he's doing is wrong,
Mm-hmm.
right? But at the same time, does he know what he's doing is wrong?
Right, because I don't think he knows that it's wrong. It's not wrong to him. I think he knows that it's not accepted around the others.
Right.
So he's keeping it within because it's not accepted.
Right.
But he's like, it's not.
I know
wrong.
everybody else is not going to like it. I know the world is not going to like it.
Right. Yeah.
But to him here,
mm-hmm.
Is it wrong? I don't think this is wrong.
Right.
This is not wrong to me.
Mm-hmm. So look there. Yeah, more.
So, yeah, a little bit. So that's where, you know,
So
I understand Sparkle blaming herself because a situation happened. She was present because she was around and visible. I wouldn't blame her any more than she blames herself. She's gonna beat herself up. There's no need for me to beat her up.
You always wish you could have done something. You know, like I said, right. 2020.
Right.
The situation you was around, or you felt like I could have done something.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying, and not to fast forward again, but it felt like a lot of people in the docu-series was trying to clear their conscience after all these years, you know, because a lot of them said that they saw this, I was there when this happened, and da-da-da-da. How would you want to say it now? You know what I'm saying? I wish I should have said something then, but I'm going to say it now. And that's what a lot of people, you know, in the documentary, docu-series, whatever, that's what they were trying to put out to it. But it's just like,
I think the one person that was the realest was the dancer, the one in the red.
Mm-hmm.
When she said, in a way, we kind of knew it was all wrong. It was wrong, or like it felt wrong, but we were having fun and living in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta let her have that because I think that's a true statement.
It's tough. I mean, I feel you. It's tough.
Well, we're never gonna get anybody that's gonna say, "Hey, listen, I didn't say nothing because I've never had a job like this.
Right.
I was never living this life. I never had this kind of money.
Mhm.
You know, I was eating lobster and shrimp, so I turned a blind eye because I didn't think I'd ever be eating lobster and shrimp again."
Right.
Nobody's ever gonna say that. They're just not.
I was telling y'all that R. Kelly was profitable, and fast forward, we found out he wasn't paying his mortgage or whatever, what have you. It's not that he's broke; it's whatever he's doing with his money, he's doing with money. But he's making money, and not only is he making money for himself, because even that's not a lot, but he was profitable to his record label, who also was like, "Hey, listen, keep making us money." He was profitable to a lot of businesses and things. He made songs for people still, and as of recently, still writing music for people and stuff, still touring. So that's why a lot of businesses, and Leo Cohen said it, I won't say said it best, but he admitted, you know, when he was on the Breakfast Club last year, he said,
she asked me talent or issues, and I said talent, but I have to, I can't give up on people.
But I'm saying that's hypocritical though. You're saying
It's
opioid problem's a
opportunistic.
problem.
Yeah. I got people to feed. I got a business to run.
You're gonna make Dame Dash take this clip and call you a culture vulture.
Who's Dame Dash?
as long as they're still cranking out hits, go ahead, take another hit of that. Pop another one of those. And in R. Kelly's case, his drug of choice was these little girls. So if a label exec knew, and a lot of people that, a lot of heads knew, they were like, he's gonna make these hits. He's gonna bring out this music, and if that's his muse, that's his inspiration. Because we also found out from Sparkle, like I said, the song that they did, she said it came from an experience that they had, and he wrote it as such. We also found out that "You Are Not Alone," which he wrote for Michael Jackson, what came from him, his wife having a miscarriage, which was another moment I was like, I can't listen to that song again.
No, not his wife, Lisa.
Oh, Lizette?
Okay, the Spanish.
No, Lisa. Lizette was the younger. Lisa was also in the video with Sparkle's niece.
Right, that's what I was getting to, right. So we found out she had a miscarriage. And
right.
You Were Not Alone for Michael Jackson. So, he was still profitable in that sense that a lot of people were going to turn a blind eye. And Lisa, who was in the video, we also found out she's the one that took the tape.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she's the one that took the tape because she was there. And then when she finally found out, because she was, he said, "Hey, let's try it. Let's try a threesome thing. Let's take it up another notch," because he was testing his like you said, his power and his authority. He wanted to take it up another notch. And like most drugs, once you build a tolerance for one thing, you want to go to the next level. He had her join with Sparkle's niece. And then when she found out, Sparkle's niece said, "When I turn 16, I'm going to buy a car." And she's like, "What you mean when you turn 16? Like, aren't you?" And that's when she found out how old she was. And even then, she didn't per se, like, she was just more so like, once she was hurt that, first she was hurt that he brought her, somebody else with them. And then she was dealing with that. Then it was like, this is crazy, but what do I do?
Well, at that point, Lisa was already mentally so far gone in terms of the manipulation,
right?
That she just hearing that was never going to be enough for her to leave anyway. I mean, like when people say, "Oh, I heard that," why didn't she? It's not it was never going to be enough. It was never going to be enough for her to leave at that moment. It had to be something else. It had to be a culmination. It had to be multiple. Like at that point, Lisa was with him for a couple of years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Imagine the mental turmoil that he had put her through, not only the physical. So, you know, what she stated in it was when she found out that the girl was not even 15, you know, not even 16, she felt disgusted, which is a natural reaction. So there at least was some bit of her humanity and or mental that was still there, because some people would have just, it would have been like, oh, he told us not to talk to each other anyway. I'm not even sure why I'm talking to you. Let me just look straight ahead or look at the wall or do whatever I was supposed to be doing, and breaking the rules and speaking to her anyway. So I can't.
So the tape comes out. He finally, a trial finally happens. But the trial itself was specifically for child pornography, I believe.
And it was delayed for 6 years. So anyone that was in the videos or whatever who were minors before at this point are 20 and 21 years old and don't want to talk about it because they've been trying to get away from it for all these years. And now you want to bring it back 6 years later and I got to relive this. So you really think I'm going to come to court and tell you something?
And that is how he was acquitted.
Here's my thing though. I just in the charges. The charges are child pornography, but that nigga's in it. Ain't that right? That's not child pornography. Child pornography is someone else. You know what I'm saying?
So we gotta look at the DA and them for putting those charges on him, because they knew it was some charges that wouldn't, that because child pornography in itself is like he said it was his brother.
Foul shit, but what he did to Sparkle's niece, so the you know, the pattern is starting to fit. Yeah.
And it was just like, you know what I'm saying, like he denied that he was in the video. And I think the case at the time, they was just trying to get him for even creating the video. Not even, and it getting out and being for sale. And that was the issue, because he was like, I didn't put it out there. And they didn't, he's like, I'm not even in the video. It was like, so they weren't even trying to get him for, you know, statutory rape, and they weren't even trying to get him on those things. They was focused on the tape itself.
Right.
The substance of it, as if, so you're promoting child, and it was like, no. And that the laws kind of changed since then, because I remember working at Best Buy, and they started to push in 2000s. If Geek Squad or the tech team at the time received the computer and they found some stuff on there, they had to immediately, when the person came back, contact the authorities about the possession of it. So the laws changed with being, even if it's on your computer or anything, you are liable for the possession of an underage minor in the act of whatever, even if you're not in the tape. So the laws changed after he was acquitted. And they never got him for him even being on the tape. They was bringing up charges of the tape itself existing. And that's where it got, you know, mishandled.
Can we jump forward? Because on that point, can we jump forward? I'm like chomping at the bit. I mean, you could splice this in later.
Go ahead. Where do you want to
go? With the parents of the McClary girl,
we're pretty much there now. Because like I said, the tape was kind of the low point. After that was where you would think everyone kind of would still kind of not mess with him. People still did. You know, a lot of people still danced to a song, singing along, still keeping working with him. What happened? He went on business as usual. You know, the Boondocks made an episode.
What the hell is wrong with you people? Every famous nigga that gets arrested is not Nelson Mandela. Yes, the government conspires to put a lot of innocent black men in jail on fallacious charges. But R. Kelly is not one of those men. We all know the nigga can sing. But what happened to standards? What happened to bare minimums? You a fan of R. Kelly? You want to help R. Kelly? Then get some counseling for R. Kelly. Introduce him to some older women. Hide his camcorder. But don't pretend like the man is a hero. And stop the damn dancing. Act like you got some goddamn sense, people. Damn. Don't playing around here. Boo! Hey, you with the afro. Give it a rest. Beat it. Put the music back on.
I wanted to, because there was a point about with the parents for who went, and they were like, they said in the documentary, oh, we had heard the rumors, but he wasn't convicted.
Yeah.
That's my thing, and that's why I was like, can we jump forward? Because
that's why I was going to her. So the parents were they all went to the concert. Kelly was doing what he's doing, and he walked to the front of the stage, you know, being the showman that he is. He grabbing hands, kissing them, gyrating, doing what he do. He grabs the daughter of the family, the Curry family, if that's the name. I'm not sure.
something like that. I feel something like that.
Ezriel
up on stage. The parents like, go on, girl, go ahead. And he what takes a backstage.
Right, so they do this thing and they go backstage and the parents go back to where she's supposed to exit from.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's at some point someone intervenes and says, R. Kelly wants to meet you.
Right.
So she sings and then, you know, and the parents are there.
Mm-hmm.
I think initially they started the story, they were like, yeah, it was fine because we right there. Like if anything pops off, we right there.
Right.
So I got, you know, and this is where, you know, I was like, okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the point that I wanted to just connect really quickly was while we were talking about the trial and how he was acquitted, was, you know, the parents were saying, and let me say this first, I am in no way blaming parents, okay? Because I see that a lot now that it's the parents' fault. The parents should have the parents. First,
right.
stop talking if you're not a parent. Let's just stop there. Stop talking, okay? Because you there's a totally, you know, different mindset when it is your child, and we can connect in a way that sometimes people who don't have no children can't understand. So let's start there.
I feel attacked.
So, well, don't be lucky. You don't have no children. You don't gotta go through this. Or R. Kelly coming after your child. How about that? There you go. Don't live in Chicago. So the parents were like, yeah, we had heard these rumors or whatever, but he wasn't convicted. And my initial thought when I heard this was, but yeah, what were the charges?
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't convicted. It's not like the charges was armed robbery. So you, they're not gonna rob us. So we are. So it's okay for our child to go off with him because he was just, you know, he wasn't convicted of armed robbery. So we should be straight.
And they were focused on he could make our daughter a star.
Right. My thing was the charges were child pornography.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? The charges weren't bad checks. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Charges are child pornography. And you're saying to yourself, yes, let this Grammy Award winning alleged child pornographer help my child.
Mm-hmm.
I get that you want to help your kid. That's like we always say, all money ain't good money.
Mm-hmm.
All ain't good help. Could there have been another way? Granted, it wouldn't have been as gold and glittery as R. Kelly, but as a parent who, yes, you want to help your child make it in this industry, you're going to have to think a little bit more than just, oh, it's R. Kelly, he's going to help, and da-da-da-da-da. You live in Chicago. All of these news articles in Chicago, all of these TV shows or news in Chicago. You live in Chicago.
Do they, though? I thought they lived in Florida.
I thought they were in, and then they were in Florida.
No, I thought they lived in Florida because she was in school.
Whatever the case may be, I'm a parent. I'm going to let a Grammy Award-winning alleged child pornographer help my child get into the music industry? Possibly. But I feel as though the whole thought of he wasn't convicted, so we could possibly let him help her.
And then the father felt the need to say, well, there does need to be a chaperone. So he sends his other daughter. So I'm going to send both my daughters.
Instead of my son.
Instead of me. I'm going, hey, what up? What's going on over here? What happened if I press that key? Boom, boom, piano. Okay. Volume. What happened? Oh, you need that? Okay. Sing it, player. I'm going to just sit right here. He sends his daughters, both daughters. Crazy. And then the daughters, she said she saw, well, the way they cut the show, first they didn't say whatever happened when she found them, because the younger daughter went missing. And
a hotel to meet him without
them. And then they later found out that she caught them having sex, something like that.
That they did. So remember, what they said was that the daughter went to the hotel without telling the parents, and the parents got frantic, like, where the hell are you? Where the hell are you? Oh, they're at the hotel. We both going there. And so we went to the hotel, and they were like, oh, there's no R. Kelly here, but the R. Kelly tour bus is outside. Our daughter's car is outside. Our daughter is in here. She is a minor. Tell me where the hell my child is. And she finally came downstairs, the girl, and was like, you guys are messing up my flow. I was singing for him. It was an audition. It was an audition. And they were like, well, it may have been an audition, but we should have been there. It's not until later that at this audition, he had actually had sex with her at that audition. So she's giving her parents the ultimate guilt trip, like, y'all are messing up my ability to, I'm mature enough to handle this. Nothing really happened. But come to find out, something really did happen. And that was probably the beginning of his whole manipulation with her. So my thing that I feel as though, and then the sister went later to be the chaperone, and they kick her out and leave her on a corner of the side of the road somewhere and tell her, we're going to kill your sister. We're going to do all these things. So don't tell. Like, my thing is that a master manipulator like R. Kelly is, I'm not going to say allegedly, I'm going to say he.
Oh no, he is.
Because
allegedly, he's so.
If you can manipulate this many people on this many levels, all and have this boat of singing, whether you got help or not, because you do got help, we know that.
Yes. Oh yes.
The mastermind and the ringmaster of this this big circus, it takes a lot, and you're always picking these girls with like stardust in their eyes. And I get it. Every girl wants to be every girl sometimes, wants to be a singer or some type of performer, especially this age of social media. Everybody wants to be an Instagram girl, an influencer. They making up words to make it all of these things. And you have this person who is at the top of his game. He's sung for, written for Celine Dion, best of both worlds. There's a whole tour. There's a whole this. Well, all of these people, and you want to be in that, but you don't have the mental capacity to really uncover so many different schemes that are going on to get things out of you, and you think you're giving it up freely. I'm in control. And that is the sickest mind trick, is when you think that you're doing it of free will, and you're not. So I'm doing this audition for this big person, and he is just manipulating and just taking these young, beautiful black girls, because he's not doing it to no white women.
Oh yes, he is. Oh yes, he is. They got paid off. They're there. Then you know what? They asked to been on that damn documentary. They really should. They're not gonna. They're not gonna.
Yeah, so at the end,
folks are not gonna.
Episode 6 was the highlight of Save Our Black Girls.
But before we go there, let's remember. Let's go back to the manipulation for one second. To back to Crystal's point. It's the old magician's trick. Watch my left hand, don't watch my right. Yes. So everyone keeps wanting to come at the parents, but this family specifically told you how he's getting around the parents.
Yes.
And told you how, when he, air quotes, airs everybody out and the parents are giving their children to him, in one hand, there's a telephone number to people to call about the record deal. But you're not watching me give your daughter my direct phone number. Remember, the girls are the ones that are talking to him directly. The family is talking to either a record executive, so they think, a manager, a tour person. They think they're talking to someone that's doing the business side. They don't realize they're working with someone who's working with R. Kelly. They also don't realize until it's too late that their child is talking to R. Kelly directly. So he's doing that old famous, don't watch my left hand, watch my right. Mm-hmm. So by the time you realize your daughter has been cupcaking and soft hush baby tones with him, it's too late.
Yeah.
And this family in particular spelled it out for you. And only if you're actually paying attention do you hear it, outside of hearing the sadness of everything else. And that's what pissed me off with all those people that are out here saying, well, what is the parents doing? How the parents let it happen? They just wanted their kids to be stars and Sometimes they don't know he's talking to their child. Yeah. Not until after the fact. Not until after the savages get to the damn dorm and realize the whole dorm that they furnished for their daughter is wiped out. She ain't coming back. They don't even know. Because their child is talking to him. And they don't know.
My thing was, everyone was like, oh, the parents should know. Don't try to act like, and I'm not even exempt. I ain't sneak out. I ain't do a whole bunch of dumb shit that my parents did not know at 16 and 17. Don't try to act like you was a nun. Don't try to act like you ain't do nothing. Don't try to act like you did every curfew, every bed check. Don't try it. Don't try it. And if you thought that you had an R. Kelly, or in my case, like a Ronnie DeVoe or a Bobby Brown. If Bobby Brown said, come on, Crystal, I'm about to make you a star, I'm be like, let me put these pillows right up underneath. Hold on. Hold on. Thank goodness Bobby was into crack and not little girls.
So I ain't want to look like that, Crystal. I ain't need to know all that. We just revealed it.
But it's true.
I'm just saying.
It's true. It's true. It's true. The sadness of it all is that you can't even enjoy your teens and 20s like you used to. I was telling Mia this earlier today. That's the sadness of this whole thing. Your teens, 18, 19, 20, 21 to 25, you're supposed to be able to go out there, fuck up, do dumb shit, get drunk, throw up on the street, hang out with your friends, say a bunch of dumb shit, jump in and out of car. You're supposed to be able to do all that stupid shit. Today, they can't, because I don't know who's passing me a drink in a club no more. A guy coming to give me a drink, I gotta smell it, see if it fizzes, pour a little bit out. Nigga, you drink it first. Let me see you take a sip. You feel what I'm saying?
Get a Florida straw. You sip some of this first.
Right. And I'm gonna give you a straw because I need you to sip from the bottom up to make sure. You feel what I'm saying? Like, they can't even enjoy life anymore because you have these predators and these deranged people that are focused on just hurting people. It's sad.
I like how everybody online all of a sudden is so there. Like we knew this. Like, why are y'all acting like this is something new? I'm sorry, did I miss your R. Kelly protest? And if I did, I apologize. Like, I keep seeing all the time. We always knew this. That's why I don't understand. I'm sorry that I missed your post on R. Kelly all those years ago. Pull it up. It should be a memory, right? Facebook do memories. It should be memory. You said R. Kelly was all this and all that. No, you don't have that. I don't have your invitation to the hashtag we don't listen to R. Kelly no more two-stepping it because he a child pedophile. I missed it. I'm sorry. So I'm going to get upset now. Because as a 40-year-old woman with a 19-year-old daughter and a 16-year-old son, I'm upset. So I can
Right.
be upset, right? Should I be upset? No, I can't, because this happened so many years ago. That's like telling somebody who was sexually assaulted, you know what, boo, you missed that window. Don't get upset now. You knew your uncle was doing that years ago. You cannot tell people to be upset, or when they want to get their healing, or when they want to say what is finally on their mind to say. Don't shame people into being quiet. Don't shame people into now actually seeing what it was. Maybe we didn't see it because we didn't.
Right.
And we didn't want to pay attention to it. All those people who are saying now, oh, I can separate the man from the music. I might be able to get with that on certain other things, but on this as a whole, because it is still going on, it is a systemic thing. I can no longer separate the man from the music, because to be quite honest, they're still the same person. Just like, you can't separate the man from the basketball, the man from the football. They're still the same person. So we actually do now, in this day and age with the Me Too's and all this other, we have to make a decision. Either you're going to love the pedophile musical genius, or you're not. And you have to put it all together. He is allegedly a pedophile musical genius.
I can't do it, but primarily because about 5 people from the documentary said his music is his music. His life is his music. So everything that he's done in his life is played out in his music. I am sick. Mm-hmm. Okay, not to say that I was always the biggest R. Kelly fan, but I was not, still not. But there were songs that I did pop my fingers to and pop my head and maybe swung a hip or two every now and again. And I'm not gonna lie and say I didn't. You at a club, you at the party, you have a couple drinks, you dance to the music. Fiesta. Okay? But now, today, I can't hear none of that shit. None of it. And anybody who knows me knows that I always had a problem with age ain't nothing but a number. And everybody, you overthinking it. You overthinking it. Nah, B, I got a problem with that. I personally don't like older men. Not ridiculously older.
Can I say something? I'm sorry.
I can't.
I'm sorry.
If you old enough to be my daddy, we cannot.
Sorry.
We cannot.
You guys have known me for how long? My rule is, if you was in school before I was born, I've been saying that for years. If you was in school before I was born, I can't mess with you. We don't have nothing in common. You was eating paste and I was just being born. I don't know your struggles. I don't know your struggles. I don't know what's wrong with you. I can't.
I'm sorry. And people think, oh my God, it's so much better being with an older. I can't, because I'm looking at him and I'm seeing a father. And I had a father.
Me too.
Until he passed away.
Shout out.
Okay? My father was in my life. I don't have daddy issues. So no, I can't do it.
No.
Right. You've established how y'all feel about him, about R. Kelly. There's more girls that was mentioned in the documentary, and there's more girls that weren't. How do y'all feel about the documentary itself? And particularly like episodes 5 and 6, kind of not even being about him, but more so about that family going and the mom going to rescue her daughter and all that stuff. How do y'all feel about that? I mean, it's Lifetime. You know what I'm saying? It was a Lifetime production. I think Dream Hampton was the producer for it. Who was involved? What did y'all feel about the documentary itself? Naya.
I'm gonna say, for it to be Lifetime, I think it was very well done. It definitely wasn't the jacked up Aaliyah story that I stopped watching after 15 minutes. And I tried because I wanted to get to the other parts of the story. I wanted to see how far they could go. But the way they raced through and tried to romanticize the whole her and R. Kelly relationship piece, I just couldn't do it. So, but I think this documentary was done very well. I don't know if we necessarily needed to have 6 parts. I guess they could have just let them run 2 hours, each night. But, people do what they do. I think they covered what they needed to cover in the way with what they had. I now just want to know what they plan to do with it and where they plan to go. Because yes, you've made awareness, but now what?
Mm-hmm. Crystal, what's your thoughts on the documentary itself?
I thought the docu series was sad. It was I was angry. Definitely I was pissed. 5 and 6 made me sad. I just, I think it did what it was supposed to do. We're having a 2-hour-long conversation about a man who maybe 2 weeks ago, R. Kelly did what? Oh, no, nobody care.
Oh, no. So now, he was singing in Africa about bringing chicks home to America, asking if they had their shots. So he was still on the radar. He was still out here. He's still out here.
He wasn't on my radar at all because I don't buy R. Kelly records. I don't go to R. Kelly concerts. I'm not a huge R. Kelly fan. I did, though, find the scary part was at the height of all of this with the sexual assaults and he's doing I Believe I Can Fly. Like the juxtaposition between his outward portrayal and his inward demons is the polar opposite. I mean, you got like Mississippi Mass Choir behind you, but yet you got girls peeing in buckets and they can't look at nobody. They can just look.
They can't eat. They're taking
taking food from people. And that to me was the scariest part because it's so true that you don't know nobody until they're home. Like, what is going on with them? You got your wife locked up. She can't even come down. Like, that to me is crazy. And let me be clear. I didn't even know R. Kelly had a wife until she showed up on that reality series talking about, I'm the ex-wife of R. Kelly. I was like, who? R. Kelly had a wife. When was this? What?
Right. So that goes to show you how good he was at hiding.
So and that's his wife. I want to ask y'all, how do y'all feel about her recently riding around on Instagram bumping his music, talking about that's my baby daddy, and I still listen to his music, and I still will.
Not for nothing. I think here's my thing.
I'll send you that video too.
That's the thing you said in the DMs? That's the thing you said?
So. That was one of them. Yeah, I think so.
I didn't click on that. That's why I was working.
She was riding around and she was singing, I forgot what song it was or whatever, but she was singing it. She's like, that's my baby daddy, and I still listen to his music. Yeah. So what do y'all think of that?
I say this. The documentary was called Surviving R. Kelly, right? Mm-hmm. And technically, they're still surviving. They're not survivors. It's not over. They're still in it. And as much as she may want to believe she's gone through it, she's still very much in it.
Yeah.
Even more so than the rest of them, because she has his 3 children. Yeah. So as much as his 3 children to her, let me finish. As much as his 3 children to her are a blessing, they are also their connection and a reminder.
Yes.
And I also question her still carrying his last name. And of course it makes sense because they have children. So a lot of people are questioning, right, how do you still use his last name? And it's like, well, same reason, it's like a mom needs to be able to when they were children.
First of all,
I don't think she's completely released herself.
I don't think that the last name has anything to do. That's a marriage. They were married, okay?
Right.
She has every right to keep whatever name she want to keep. His name, her name, whatever. Can't nobody who ain't never been, oh gosh. You know what? I wish people could only reply and respond to shit that they have actually lived through. If you ain't never been married, don't ask no married person why they keeping the married man's last name. Mind your business.
Well, yeah,
If you ain't never,
Well, remember, she tried to get remarried. Remember, she tried to get remarried when she was on that Hollywood Ex-Wives season 2. She was trying to get remarried, and that lasted less than 90 days. They got an annulment.
Well, remember, we're
She
in the era of public
An
opinion.
annulment.
Nobody needs to be married. Nobody needs to have children. Nobody needs to have played the game. Nobody needs to have to go through it to give their opinion on it. That's the era we're in now.
I think you should though. I think you should take that. I think that. I mean, I feel like anyone who can talk about women who have been sexually assaulted and what they would have done had it been me, bitch. If you ain't never been sexually assaulted, keep your motherfucking mouth closed. Okay? Because that right there is a whole realm and a whole mentality that you're not even prepared for. Because you'd have to go through it to prepare yourself for it. And because you can't even fathom what that would be like, shut up. It is annoying to me. You can't talk to survivors if you ain't never survived nothing. How you gonna open your mouth? You have an opinion. Great. That don't mean you have to share it. Because you sound dumb. Like in the family, we have this saying, shut up, you sound dumb. Don't say it. And it becomes offensive because you're adding a layer of ignorance to your comments because you've never been in that situation. And it's offensive. And it's just not right. When it comes to things like
that was, I'm sorry to cut you off, but that was why I always questioned why John Legend kept popping up in the documentary. It was weird seeing him in there, and I know he has 2 daughters now. But he just seemed.
But why John Legend?
Right.
Because nobody can do it.
Into it. It just seemed like they needed someone in the music industry.
Yeah.
Just say something.
Yeah.
He seemed very.
No one else. But no one else was going to do it.
Right.
I mean, it feels to me like the people who should have been in it, the people who should have been talking about it, don't want to touch it for whatever their public persona reasons are.
Mm-hmm.
Where is Tyrese? I didn't see him post a rant and rave.
Nah, he's been quiet. He stayed low. And it was funny because Chance the Rapper appeared for like 2 seconds, but when he knew he was coming up, he tweeted that day his full statement of, yeah, I made a song with him. I was tripping, so he kind of, I didn't know he was going to be on it. It was like when episode 6 was going, he just popped up like, yo, my fault. And it was like, I was just like, Chance? Like, was that Chance the Rapper? Like, But before we wrap up on it, what do y'all think about Charlamagne being in the documentary? Because he was also on like just episode 6 and that was it. And he seemed out of place and stuff. And he himself has had some charges of rape and statutory rape itself. He himself has said that he's been a victim of statutory rape. He said his babysitter molested him when he was, a teenager. So he's been on allegedly both sides of the coin. Do y'all think he should have said more, or was he out of place too, or how do y'all feel about him being in the documentary?
I don't think that any celebrity that wants to speak out against the mistreatment of these Black girls, because that's what one of the last title, what, Black Girls Lives Matter or something. I don't think that anyone should ever not speak out. If you have, even if Charlamagne allegedly has his own issues, if he can speak in a way that maybe spark something in someone else's mind of like, this is wrong, I don't see an issue with it. I feel like we always do this. Like, it's almost like you got to pick the cleanest. People who have never done anything, people who never will do anything, are the only people who can speak out against injustice in any type of way. Because as soon as someone else speaks out that doesn't fit that mold, oh, well, this person has this issues, ping, 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 Twitter, ping, 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 Instagram, or we got all these stories. It's this massive distraction. I thought the point was surviving R. Kelly. And his statement is true. You know, Black women in general are the lowest on the totem pole. We are the most disrespected by white people, by white women, by white men, and by Black men. Like, seriously, this is like, it's enough. And so the issue of Charlemagne speaking out, could we have found somebody else? Sure. But apparently wasn't nobody going to do it if you got John Legend, who ain't doing nothing, has nothing to do with this whatsoever, is the only celebrity. You got clips of Chance. Chance is not sitting in a chair.
Yeah, he was.
Okay, what we got?
Now, it's interesting because Charlemagne was absent when the Breakfast Club came back from their hiatus to talk about it on Monday. He wasn't there. And a lot of people presume it to be like him being handled or being protected from the topic because he has his own skeletons in the closet. So, Nan, what do you think about that?
I mean, his skeletons were revealed. I'm not sure if they in the closet anymore.
No,
because
they covered it up. The case he brought up was his now current wife, but there was another one who was underage that he avoids.
So again, okay, whoa, I didn't know about his wife. See, the one I know about was so the case that he talks about where he apparently got a girl drunk or drugged her or something, and he says the only thing he's guilty of is leaving the girl at the party, whatever, because he left her there, and whatever happened after he left, he's not aware of. That was his wife?
No, his wife was, I don't remember the specifics of it, but they were drunk and had sex.
No, this is completely different.
Yeah,
this is completely different.
There's another case. There's an underage girl that he had sex with.
That's the difference. From what I heard, and I was sure I heard it on a Breakfast Club interview, he did not have sex with her. He doesn't know what happened after he left, but his intention was to have sex with her. I don't know why he didn't know what happened, but he left her at a party, fucked up. And so he said he admits that what he did was wrong regarding leaving her there in that state. But at the end of the day, he was young and dumb. I remember this. I'm so certain it was on the Breakfast Club interview, and I can't remember. But that's what he admits to. It was
talking about
because the girl and her mother was bringing him up on charges.
Yes, because they're saying that they had sex together. That's what they're saying.
They're saying he had sex. He's saying he didn't have sex with her. And the only thing he's doing is getting her fucked up and leaving her in a fucked up environment.
Right, but then
that's
he stopped talking about that case, and he went in on the situation with his wife. He even had his wife call in and talk about their history because he focused on that. That came up a couple times on the Breakfast Club, and he even had his wife call in and say what happened.
Yeah, I never heard that. So that one is news to me.
Yeah, he put the other one to the side and honed in on his wife. But you know what I'm saying? Like, again, I'm not, that's still up in the air too. But a lot of people have been bringing that back up because they're calling him a hypocrite for even speaking out on this now when he has, a history himself. So
I'm thinking the court of public opinion is still bringing that one up because from my understanding, that case was either dismissed or thrown out or whatever. Now, I don't know if they would pay off.
She was on something last year. That's still ongoing.
This was last year.
Yeah.
From my understanding, this is closed and resolved. We could look it up and find out later for certainty.
Yeah.
And that was another reason why he stopped talking about it, because he said he wasn't going to talk about it no more. And everybody else continues to bring it up. But I don't know this case to still be active.
Which is why I say him being absent on Monday from the Breakfast Club is what sticks out to a lot of people, because they feel like he was trying to lay low from the topic, because you feel like he would have had a lot to say about R. Kelly, but they were taking callers, and people would have been like, well,
they would have talked about him.
Yeah. So
I'm not a fan of his either. He's not high on my list of favorite people. Primarily because I've encountered him. Where were we? When we went to. Did you go? I think you went. When we went to a comedy show with Joaquin. This was when I was still in New York.
Did I ain't go?
Okay, maybe. Okay, and he was a dick. He was there, and he was a dick.
Well, and that's why a lot of people are saying he's trying to be on a rebranding and a cleanup. You know what I'm saying? He got his skin cleaned up, writing books. He's speaking out against, and he's trying to, because he has a history of being a jerk to a lot of people and things like that. And they're saying now he's trying to be more of a calmer journalist. He's playing the friendly game with the industry. And I don't want to make this a whole Charlamagne thing, but that's what, again, the court of public opinion, which is pointing out some things and bringing up stuff, which was what we also talked about in the last episode, video clips resurfacing and things coming back. They're bringing up his stuff as well. So that's why I just thought, it was interesting seeing him on there. John Legend didn't belong. It was just John Legend was on a couple times, and it was just like, but it was random. Me myself, I feel like the last two episodes were very agenda based, and it was very evident. And I'm in no way, shape, or form defending R. Kelly. It just felt like it came off as an opportunity, and I don't know if anyone in the show got paid, and I don't think they were looking to get paid, because the family since then had to do with the earpiece. Since then, has been on their own little tour of interviews and things like that. Videos have resurfaced of the first interview they did about their daughter being captain. I think her name the Savages, and
yes,
and the father was like coaching the other girl on what to say during the interview. So people are starting to question their credibility. Me myself do not have a child. However, my niece is the closest thing to that to me, and I know if anything was to happen to her, I'm finding R. Kelly. I know they got the address of where their daughter was, and they couldn't get in the building. They was doing the wellness checks, but I know R. Kelly's on tour. He's in such and such theater tonight. I'm going to be a law-abiding citizen. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about, and I'm going to put hands, shout out to homegirl McDonald's, I'm going to put hands on R. Kelly. Period. All right? That's just me. So the way they're going about it still seems very calm to me. I'm going to find him. There's going to be a part 2 to this, Surviving Me, starring R. Kelly. Because I'm not, in that situation, I don't know if we can go the legal route.
Well, I feel like, we only got a snippet of their journey in trying to get in contact. Maybe before a press conference, there was Ray and them in the van rolling around town.
Nah, I know where R. Kelly gonna be at. I'm not rolling around. He's on tour. I'm buying some front row tickets. Remember how Pusha T's concert, some Drake fans threw some water at Pusha T or whatever? I'm hopping up on this. Security going to get me. I'm putting hands on. I know where he gonna be. I don't know if they were. And my daughter's in this building. I don't know what room she's staying in this hotel, whatever. But I do know he's going on at 11.
I know the Savages was on the radio in Atlanta, I think either yesterday or today. And the father said that he actually got on the phone, R. Kelly got on the phone with his manager, and he told him, man, just send my daughter home. And R. Kelly said, it's not time. Them is fighting words.
I'm going to, that's what I'm saying. Why are we talking on the phone?
Those is fighting words.
Why are we talking? Look, it's on site. On site don't mean I'm going to talk and you're going to listen. On site is Peter Griffin and that chicken. Okay? I'm finding you. On site. I'm putting it. Give me my daughter. I'm not calling. Please, can I get my baby back? No. I'm going to find you.
But that doesn't help in the end because
no, it doesn't.
Or behind
no, it doesn't. And I'm not saying it does. The legal route that is the correct way.
Right.
I'm not thinking correctly because I don't know what's going on over there, but I saw the tape. No, you catching hands. You catching hands. So I me myself, think they're being very diplomatic about it, very calm.
For 3 years.
With all this time, the father got the Bluetooth in his ear. Looks weird. And they're doing all these interviews and all this stuff, documentaries.
Crazy.
Telling my wife, you go do the interview, I'll be right back. I'm going to get R. Kelly. Whatever happens, happens. But I think they're just too calm about it. I don't know. All right. The show itself, like I said, it turned into the protect our black women thing. That I'm all for that. I just don't think that was that it ended off correctly. Because like you said, there, we need solutions.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't give any solutions.
Mm-mm.
And that's why I felt like the last 2 episodes, it was on Saturday, that's prime time. It went into a whole different thing. It wasn't about R. Kelly anymore. It went into them. And that's the part that people are focusing on. And that's what you said, Crystal. That gave him an out because they even Lifetime diverted their attention to the agenda. So even they dropped the ball. Because people that watched the last 2 episodes was like, oh, see, this is that. It's not. He need to be found. He need to get arrested. We need to bring it was, it was Charlemagne and Chance and them, and it looked like it was, it looked like something else.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They dropped the ball there on that part, and they gave people the opportunity to say, see, this is what they do to us. And that's what ended up happening was we have a division now on social media and stuff because that's the court of public opinion. And you no longer judged by 12, you judged by 12 million. And people, there's a line in the sand. And there are people that are in some aspect not directly defending R. Kelly, but are anti the documentary and how it came off. And it's all because of episodes 5 and 6. Not all because of, but primarily because episodes 5 and 6 and how it was presented and how it laid out came across. And that's the issue that I had. And that's why now we're getting a lot of questioning his ex-wife. She's singing his songs. The parents out here they're on tour doing interviews, writing books and things. And it gives people the opportunity to say, see, they don't really mean it. Or see, they are just trying to extort him and such and such. And that's why he's saying he has proof that they are, that he either signed off on certain things or they were aware of certain things. And R. Kelly himself has threatened to create a website and his own docu-series set up of some sort to focus on primarily those last two families of, or the ones that, weren't the tape and the other things that we've all seen. The ones that are the more recent events, he's like, I'm focusing on them. You know what I'm saying? Which is the same thing Russell Simmons did when he was out at the Me Too movement. He didn't say, the stuff in the past. He said, I'm going to take a test on this girl specifically. You know what I'm saying? R. Kelly's kind of doing the same thing now. He's saying, they're lying, not them, them. You know what I'm saying? So
all the way in the back on the left.
The big dude just hit you, but you move the big dude out the way and punch the littlest dude in the crowd. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he's doing now. So it's giving him and some people a leg to stand on. And at the end of the day, still to this day, R. Kelly's biggest supporters are black women. They're still stepping in the name of love. They're still singing his songs. They're still at his concerts. When he was in Africa saying, "Who coming home with me?" They was like, "Me." You know what I'm saying? After all this time, and that's crazy.
Well, I'm just real quick. That's what bothered me about the 35-year-old woman who was on the documentary. But she said it very, very clearly. He likes young girls and weak minds.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I was like, yo, you 35, ma.
Mine, age ain't nothing but a number. He's still
like, you ain't been through nothing in your life to where at 35, if some, hey, what?
But she did. She did. She was in an abusive relationship and she was married before.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I mean.
She was already damaged. So
she was just as tight. Yeah, she was. Yeah. I'm always wondering what happens when he meets a 17-year-old who had a mama and a daddy who was like, nigga, if you don't get the fuck up out of my face with your old ass,
move on.
But when has he ever heard? Like, I would love to hear the stories about the ones who said no. Where are they?
Probably not going to. They probably going because that's not the cool story. You know what I'm saying? And there's probably a few people that would be like, yeah, he tried to, when I was younger, he moved on. That's how a predator does. You're going to know, you're going to see she winked at me. Let me go see what's up. Because she know who I am.
Right.
There was the one girl that says he gave her herpes because they only had sex one time and he tried to bring her into the fold and she was like, I'm not with this shit, and she did.
And
but unfortunately, the Savages called her. Somehow they found her, and told her you need to get checked out. Mm-hmm. And when she needed to get checked out, that's when she found out she had herpes. So she was one of those that wasn't down for the get down, although they did have sex that first night or whatever. But she said he forced himself on her. She wasn't full on.
She had to say yes. She felt
right.
Like she had to say yes.
Right.
So, and you know who she is? Remember Usher and R. Kelly, same girl? Usher got herpes.
Don't play with me. Don't don't do that. I hate you.
Girl.
I hate you so much. I hate you.
What's going on with Usher right now?
Oh. So that concludes this episode of Word Music.
Anything else on y'all mind?
Oh God, I forgot about that damn song.
Yo, you have to cut that part out. You're gonna have to edit.
That's good content right there.
You gotta edit that shit.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
What do y'all think is gonna come of this? Do y'all think anything's gonna happen from this? Me Too's going hard. I mean,
I feel like that's the point. I think that there should be some sort of, so now what do we do? Like, we're all in arms. We're all thinking about this. So what do we do? I mean, you know, I feel as though R. Kelly should have been Bill Cosby's ambassador into the penitentiary. Like, welcome here, my nigga. You gonna come with me? We're gonna be here for a couple years together. We eat Joe pudding pops and sing about song. Like, that's you know, like the Shawshank. The two should have been in the Shawshank. But I don't know. Like, it's because it is not so. There is no victim. There is no, you know, every case has that one victim that stands up, and then we all kind of topple in. We all kind of come in and say, oh, me too, oh, me too, oh, me too.
Yeah.
So there is no one person who's that victim. You know, Harvey has all of these women who are well known, and because they're well known, it garners a constant conversation, and then it topples, and then it, you know, goes on to the next, because unfortunately these are just innocent Black girls that he found in a mall,
random, or at a concert, or on the street, or
there isn't that pivotal victim.
Mm-hmm.
The 13-year-old girl that was in the video at the end of the documentary, she's still with him, or they still in contact.
Mm-hmm.
No, there is no person, and every other woman is so scarred. They're just finding their way out of being 17 and victimized, or being 15 and victimized.
right.
I feel like I don't know what the solution is, because I am not an R. Kelly victim.
Right.
I mean, so there isn't that person that's going to be this constant. There are groups to mute R. Kelly. I guess that's a good way to, if you feel like you want to do something. And that's the other thing. You know, we got all these people with the public opinion, and they're talking about, you know, let's mute R. Kelly, and, or, you know, oh, I don't, you know, where were all y'all years ago? But still, nobody's doing anything. So I think what would have been great at the end is for there to have been, you know, if you want to help us in hashtag mute R. Kelly, go to. If you want to do X, Y, and Z, you know, or find out the laws in your state about your child pornography, go to something. There was no call to action at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, this is what it is.
Right.
Listen to Sparkle's new song and Fade Black. There was no.
Yeah,
So,
you're right.
What do we do? It's just us. Like, it's just us. So we're outraged. We feel a certain kind of way. So what do we do?
Mm-hmm.
There was no, come here, help us here, or come here, help us there. Start a hashtag mute R. Kelly chapter in your neighborhood. Like, there was nothing. And so you're left with everyone talking, but there is no action. And that's the real sad part at the end of this whole thing.
The only action that took place was his music is streaming on Spotify 16% higher now. So the mute button ain't working.
And you know what's crazy about this whole thing too? If it's true, he's planning to move to Africa, because all his properties and everything else has already been foreclosed on. The only thing that he has left is the studio, and that's about to be foreclosed on. So he's trying to pack up and move to Africa. So he's trying to take his whole harem to Africa. So if you're going to do something and try to get your child back, I'm sorry, I'm busting locks. That don't I'm starting a fire. I'm kicking in the front door, waving the 4-4. I'm Joe the Pizza Man. I'm going to get my child.
That's what I've been saying.
But in the case of the girl whose mother did break her out, what did it say? 3 days later, she ran back. It can't just, I feel the same way y'all do. I want to get my child. But at the same token, my child has been with this man 2, 3, 4 years. The psychological that she may not want to come. That's the part I was like biting my fingernails when the mother opened the door and the daughter was like, what? I just knew she was not going to go. I just knew she was not going to go because she had been in this situation for so long.
And they had the cops coming too, so I didn't know if that was her doing or the other girl doing. Like the cops was coming. When she came outside, I was really shocked. I was shocked.
I was too. I was shocked. I was happy. I was a little saddened by that one line that said she went back, but I was happy that then she had, went back
home.
Yes. Because all the therapists were saying it. It takes a woman, 7 to 10 times to leave?
Yeah.
In order to really get away? Like, can you imagine that? You got to leave 7 times? You got to go back 6 times and deal with the repercussions of the leaving of the first 2 times. You know what I mean? And you want to go back? That is
why I'm putting hands on them. I'm putting hands on them.
Listen.
Putting hands on them.
I wish everyone the best that was in that documentary, because it has to be hard to relive those things over and over again.
Yes.
And it's not a one, just like us when we're doing this, it's not a one take. Sometimes the lighting is wrong or this is wrong. Tell us the story again. Tell us the story again. You saw the girl with the red coat. She had 3 hairstyles. Tell us the story again.
With the same jacket on, but she had her hair was a ponytail, then it was braided, but they put the same jacket on. It was
right. So you have to keep telling the same stories over and over again and reliving it. It's tough. I just couldn't. I really want to say that the women who were involved and the women who told their story, that takes a lot. You can't just go anywhere and tell your story if you want to tell your story. You gotta want to tell it multiple times. You gotta tell it so people believe you. You can't just tell your story. It could be your truth all day, all night. Sometimes, even if you tell your truth, that does not mean that people are going to believe you. So you have to tell it so that people get what you're saying. And
the thing is, when it's a celebrity, in this particular situation, it's not even about believing. It's like he's protected. You know what I'm saying? It's like people could believe, and it's like he went to trial, and it didn't matter. It wasn't even like believe. They believed her, and it was just like, but the case was against them.
And then the one jury member that they talked to, he looked like he could barely speak English. He couldn't articulate anything.
Go ahead, Krista.
The brother.
Bruce.
Brother.
The older brother, Bruce.
Yes, with the jumpsuit. First of all, I never believe a man in a prison jumpsuit. No way.
Bruce.
Walk to an interview in a prison jumpsuit. Something's wrong. Okay? But with the preference and then talking about the brother and he should have taken the money. Oh my God. Can you imagine why R. Kelly is as fucked up as he is? If you the brother and you got an ancestral sister,
And did y'all see R. Kelly tell the story about him and the mom at McDonald's drinking a cup of coffee? Did you see that story, Nate?
Yes, I did. I watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I was very disturbed. I was very, very disturbed.
Yeah.
I don't know what's in the water in the south side of Chicago, but I don't want it. I don't want it.
I mean,
I don't want it.
We got Kanye.
I don't want it.
We got Kels. I don't know if kids from the south side or the west side, Common.
I don't want it.
Fiasco, they got a Derrick Rose, but Chicago's biggest legends.
I don't want it.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
So we done here.
He romanticized his mother.
Yeah.
well, yeah, that's abuse. That's abuse. That's just abuse.
So again, going back to the sister and his reaction to what his sister might have done to him allegedly. If he was already on some, I wonder if mommy would do that, or his mind was,
Gone. He never had a chance.
Yeah.
With a mother, a sister, and an older brother, like that man never had a shot.
Yeah.
This fool said, why you could have took the money and had a record deal. How if you was in jail?
Not hit. Well, yeah. He recorded the song. He had somebody on his books.
And this is your younger brother. This is your baby brother you are referring to. Should have just taken the money.
He was in the video.
What? This is why you're in jail for armed robbery and possession.
Yeah. So we can go on and on about this.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
As always, the conversation continues, so I can see this coming back up at a later date. Everyone watching, thank you. Comment. Give us your point of view on it all. Like the video if you enjoyed this. Everyone watching, comment. Give us your point of view. What do you think about everything we talked about today? You know, Trump and tax monies. You know, McDonald's in Florida and their straw laws. You know, Young Jock and Usher's hair. Comment. Let us know. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe. Share. 2021 Vision. Words Music Dads. We out here. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the show, hit the like button. Share it. Tell your friends about it. Let them know what's going on. Also, hit subscribe and the bell to be notified when new content is loaded, because there's much, much more to come.